Hello, everybody. Hope you are good. Hope you're having a lovely start or end or middle or whatever to your day, at whatever time it is where you are. We have got a nice 20-minute lower body stretch. So there will still be a flow to it, but we are definitely going to be really sinking into that lower body and trying a few different moves, maybe some twists and turns to just ease ourselves off, maybe after a long run or a harder workout. Just give yourself these 20 minutes to ease yourself in. Now, as we haven't got too long, we're just going to take one deep breath all together from a kneeling position. So do grab anything you might need for the next 20 minutes. It might be a block. You don't have to use one. If you usually find that helps you, then please do grab one. Maybe you want some water or anything else nearby. So just grab those things, pop your music on, and then come to a kneeling position. Whatever is comfiest for you. Hands can be wherever you want. Just close your eyes for a moment, lift tall to the crown of your head, and then take a big deep breath in through your nose. Big sigh out through your mouth, release all the way out. Hopefully you felt those shoulders soften slightly, things kind of starting to reset, to settle down. And let's move on to all fours from here. So hands underneath our shoulders, knees underneath us. And today we're going to tuck our toes straight away, move your bottom back towards your heels, and then lift yourself up into a downward facing dog, pedaling out our feet here for a moment. So stretching down through our ankles, through our heels, and into those calves, those tight calves. Draw each leg one by one down towards the ground. Doesn't matter if your heel doesn't meet the mat. Just trying to find that stretch. And you may feel that as you kind of pause on one side, you can start to feel that stretch kind of tingle, move its way further up your leg. That is absolutely fine. Stay with it just for a second. And then ease off, go to the other side. So if you have one leg that's particularly tight today, then please do linger on it for a little bit longer. We're trying to press our hands strong into the mat, find some height up to our hips as we find this length down to our ankles. Now from where you are, you're going to lift up your right leg, and then we're just going to cross this right leg over the top of left. So like we're sitting down at a chair, cross-legged. If you wish, if you have a space in your ankle today, you can wrap your ankle around your calf. That is not going to be for everybody. That is particularly flexible feet. Often for me, depends on the day. But what that is going to do with this wrap, at least that top cross, it's going to make us press slightly higher up towards those hips and lengthen through the back of our left leg. So you should feel that stretch, extend, deepen perhaps. And this is actually our eagle leg variation. Still pressing strong into your arms. One more deep breath. Slowly unraveling our right leg, lifting it up and back behind you, taking it as high as you can, bending your knee from here and starting to really draw your knee open to the side as you send your foot forwards. So bringing our foot down outside our right hand. From here, hands still on the mat, starting to rock ourselves forwards and backwards, ease ourselves into our hips a little bit. Maybe you want to come up onto your fingertips from here if those hips are feeling particularly tight. Moving into a side stretch. So upper body for a moment stays as it is. Left heel is going to plant down onto your mat behind you, keeping your right hand down inside your foot. Or here is where you may want to grab those blocks if you're using them. Pop this right hand on top of your block. Lift your left arm all the way up, fingertips reaching. Take a deep breath here. Can you soften down into your legs? Maybe you can move your block onto a different edge. Maybe you're on your hand and you're trying to really find that open space across your chest as you work into those hips. Deep breath. Gently release, hands back down onto our mats. Left knee bends, lowering down onto the ground, and then extending our hips back, straighten through this right leg. Fingertips staying on the ground as you lift your right toes. Breathing in, find some length again up your spine. Breathing out, folding forwards, taking your head, your chest, as far forwards to the front edge of your mat as you can. Stretching down through the back of our right leg one more time. and really trying to draw our hips back behind us. And often here, we kind of tilt or angle our hips to one side. We're going to try and keep those bottoms in line. So sending your hips straight back behind you, almost like you're sending your right hip forwards. And that kind of undoes any tilt that you might have had. Starting to walk your hands closer up towards you now. And here's where we're going to swivel slightly on our mats. So we're going to come to face the long edge of the mat, turning our left ankle behind us and bringing those right toes down onto the ground. Left hand onto the back of your mat, right arm sweeping up. So again, nice side stretch into those hip flexors, down our waist. Right arm reaching as far as we can make it. Bring your right hand down. Bring this right knee down as well. We're back in our all fours position, facing the other side of our mat. So repeating what we just did the other way. Toes tucking, bottom back to your heels. Lift your hips up lovely and high. Again, you can have a little pedal out if you wish. Maybe this time shaking through your wrists. Our left toes lifting off the ground, and then we're coming back into that eagle position with our legs. So maybe just that one cross, maybe double wrap ankle, sliding around the back of your calf. Again, using that weight, that wrap of your left leg to send your right hip higher. And you might get a bit of a tingle actually down the outside of your thigh. That is totally normal. It's what we're going for. This lower body focus. Finding those little sweet spots. Perhaps we weren't even sure they existed until now. Take a deep breath. Gently unraveling, taking your left foot high, reaching back and then bending this left knee, using our transition to find some more space in our hips. Send your left knee out to the side as your foot comes forwards, all the way down outside your hands. Take a few rocks here, just like we did before. Notice any differences in this side. Sometimes it's much easier to rock and move through one side than the other. Going back into our stretch, we're bringing right heel down this time. Left hand can either stay on your mat or using your block perhaps. Right arm reaches up, unravel across your chest. So we're gazing up past these right fingers, trying to open up as much space as we can. Really rolling your chest open, lifting as high up towards your ceiling. Slowly coming back down, hands onto your mat. Bending your right knee. Let your hips sink back behind you as you lift up your toes, fingertips on the ground. Inhale, chest open. Exhale, fold forwards. So trying with these slight folds, not to just hunch over and really curl through your spine, but find this length through your chest. So imagining we're drawing our chest towards the back at this point of our mats, or maybe the back of your room, rather than down towards the ground. Slowly walking your hands back towards you. Again, we're coming back to that swivel to face the long edge of our mat. So right ankle comes behind you, hands are close, back heel is lowered, right hand onto the ground, left arm reaches up, maybe extending forwards, find that space down your waist, nice little rhyme there, down through your hips, fingertips reach. Slowly coming back onto our mats, back onto kneeling. Take a moment in a child's pose, bottom shift back towards your hips, towards your heels, fingertips reach forwards, head lowering down towards your mat, upper body rolling over the top of your lap. When you are ready, starting to uncurl your way up to seated, rolling all the way to the top. Okay, now from here is where it's going to get a little more juicy, shall we say. So we're going to bring our knees slightly wider. So wherever you're at, maybe that is about as wide as your mat. Maybe you're not on a mat today and it's just wherever is comfy. And then we're going to see if we can slide those ankles outside the edge of our bottoms. Again, if we do not have the space in our hips right now, grab those trusty blocks or even a cushion, planting it just behind your bottom. So we're lifting up those hips and we're just giving ourselves a little bit more space at this point. And if you have super tight hips, I would absolutely recommend that you pop something underneath them because it's going to be much more comfortable. And we do not ever want to be moving through pain. We want to go through places that maybe ease ourselves into a stretch, that maybe we can find a bit more space. But if there are ever any twinges and you're like, nope, nope, not today, do not do it today. Ease off, come back to it another time when maybe you have some more space. For now, I'm going to take this block underneath, or out from underneath me, sorry. So if you're up on that block, please stay as you are and then continue with the rest of our stretch. We're coming into a saddle. So our hands are going to move behind us and we're kind of just leaning back into this stretch. Now you can already see this is probably going to start firing up through these hips. Super, super tasty. Maybe making your way down onto your forearms. If you have the space, stay here. If you're up on a block, you can still do these variations to see where you're at. It might be a little bit more intense on that lower back, so please ease yourself in. If you are having loads of lovely room through those hips today, you want to come all the way down onto your back, then please come here. Stay as you are for a moment, trying to stretch into our quads as well from this position. And again, one more little variation. If you are here and you're not quite feeling it through your legs, first of all, take a few deep breaths, and I'm sure you will in a moment. Sometimes this one takes a little while to settle in. Secondly, if you squeeze your glutes and try and draw your knees even, down a bit closer into the ground, you will feel those thighs starting to fire up, and particularly around your knees, just starting to say, yep, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm stretching. So see where you're at right now. We're taking 2 more deep breaths from wherever you are. And in all of these variations, those 2 deep breaths are still going to help us find that extra release through our thighs, our quads, our hips, maybe into our knees. Gently making your way up from wherever you are back onto forearms through to your hands. Move those blocks out of the way if you had them. Come up onto kneeling again, or into back into our all fours. Maybe just give those legs a little bit of a shake out. So I know that those ankles as well through that saddle can sometimes feel a little bit stiff. Feel free to tap them out on the floor, to wiggle, to find some circles. Okay. From here, we're actually going to come back down to kneeling. And again, we're taking our knees out to the sides. This time, we're just going to send our left ankle to the side and see if we can bring our right leg around. So, right leg is going to reach out in front of you. Left knee is going to lift up. And then we're going to kind of cradle through this left leg as much as we might have the space. So bringing like the eye of your elbow on the inside to the sole of your left foot. And then your left arm wrapping around the outside edge of your knee. Maybe join your hands together, maybe they're a little bit further apart. We just kind of want to give this leg a bit of a rock, like we're cradling through a baby. Through a baby? That doesn't make sense. Cradling a baby. Goodness me. Give this leg a little bit of a rock, like we're taking the weight away from our hips. Maybe finding some circles. You might have a little roll around here. Have fun with it, play around. Hold your leg for once. When do we ever do this? Take your time. We're going to let go of this leg and bring our left foot over the top of right thigh. Right arm now wrapping around this leg as your left fingertips come behind you into a twist. Turning your head back over the top of your left shoulder. Hopefully feeling a stretch through our glutes. Maybe down the edge of your thigh, maybe into those lower backs as well as we twist. Slowly bringing yourself back to the front. Again, we're going to shuffle our ankles slightly again. So we're leaning this left knee forwards. So it's almost like we're stacking our left knee over the top of the right leg. And then we're going to lean ourselves over the top of this right hip. See if you can bring your right heel closer towards you. Now maybe your feet, if I come to face you, are kind of out to the side, nowhere near your hips. This is okay. Maybe your knees are quite up to your chest. Again, this is absolutely fine. We are just aiming to find across a position that works for us. And we're going to just fold over the top of our lap. So bringing your hands down in front of you, take a deep breath in, find this length through your spine. As you breathe out, fold your way forwards, maybe your hands stretch further away, try leaning our chest over the top of our legs. Again, we should feel stretch, particularly through this upper leg. Gently making your way back up. This is where it gets a little bit funky. One more time. Can we shuffle our feet to almost bring them onto the mat? We're still in this cross position, but we're bringing our feet to the flat down, or flat-ish, I should say, down onto the ground. Our hands are going to be either in front of us or maybe to our sides to help us stabilize. And we're actually going to lift ourselves up and swivel around to end up with the opposite leg on top. Don't worry if you don't get there, we'll end up there one way or another. So bringing your hands down, press into your feet, keep those legs bent as you lean forwards. And then I'm going to turn all the way round towards the right side, swiveling on my toes, keeping them in the same position. 360, bend your knees, and then bring your hips back down, wiggle those ankles out of the way. If you did not end up here, do not worry. We're just going to keep this right leg in, lift your left leg out front. And we're starting again with this cradle. So left arm wrapping around your sole of your foot, right elbow coming to the outside of your knee. Have a little rock, wiggle around. Notice how it feels to take the weight of your right leg out from your hip, out from underneath you. And sometimes we can just move here and it kind of just feels, sometimes it feels a bit strange, can't lie. And other times we notice those little sweet spots, maybe those catching points, where we go, oh yeah, actually, that's a good place for me to stretch. So take the moment, take the time to notice. Letting go and coming back into our twist, your right foot this time over the top of left thigh. Our left arm wraps around this shin, bring it close towards your chest. Right fingertips behind us as we roll our shoulder, chest open, gazing back over our shoulder. Trying to draw your knee, your thigh closer into your chest. Maybe on your exhale, finding more space. So using our breath out to settle further into our stretches. Gently turning ourselves back to the front, coming back into that slightly twisted posture. So this time we're leaning ourselves over the left hip. Left heel comes closer to our bottoms. And again, we can shuffle our way to wherever we want to go. You might find, again, that one side you can find a little bit more room compared to the other. Maybe your legs are higher up on this side compared to last time. Maybe they're lower. Fingertips starting by your sides. Shoulders rolled, chest open, crown of your head reaching tall. Exhale as you reach your fingertips forwards, extend away. Gently make your way back up through to seated, unraveling our legs completely. Feet out in front of you. Flex your feet as well, so your toes are coming back towards your chest. As you breathe in, lift your fingertips up. Exhale, fingertips coming towards your toes, your ankles, your shins. Don't worry if you don't reach any of them, just guide yourself further down, stretching through the back of our legs. And if you have got that connection to your feet, maybe you can bring yourself a little bit closer. If you're just holding onto your shins, again, you can draw yourself further down and use the space through your lower back, through your hamstrings. Rolling back through to seated. Finding a comfy position. That might just be staying as you are. Maybe you want to cross your legs. Maybe you want to bring the soles of your feet together. Knees out to the side. See where you are at. Take a deep breath wherever you are. Roll your shoulders, chest open. Close your eyes for a moment. We're going to finish with that same releasing breath we started out with. Big inhale. Bigger exhale. Thank you very, very much, everybody. I hope your legs are feeling that little bit looser. Of course, you can go back to any of those stretches. You can repeat that whole little flow that we just did whenever you need to, if you need to come back to it. In the meantime, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Remember that you are absolutely awesome. And I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.